So a couple of the guys have asked if I can do a walk round of the pond, detailing a bit of the filtration. Now it's up and running, how it's working, what levels I'm running at. So here goes. Pond itself's about 19,600 gallons. Currently 39 fish in the pond. They're all Sakai or Momotaro, except 2 Takigawa Makashis and 1 Murachiku Kahaku, which is a big fat lump going through the picture there. Using 2 auto feeders that I picked up from Absolute this week. I have to say they're awesome. So the pond itself's got 4 bottom drains, 3 mid-water drains, and then 2 skimmers. Running a shower with 300 kilos of Baki House in there. This filter was an experiment filter underneath that didn't really work how we wanted it to, so it's now converted to it's just under 1,000 litres of K1 running in there and flowing back into the pond. Fed by a flow friend down there, and that just comes off one of the middle drains, and we're putting about 30 tonnes an hour over the shower on that one. Pond itself was pretty much an ambition I had of mine, but Darren made it come together. I gave him an open book and basically said build a pond that you'd build for yourself, and I have to say I'm really happy with it. There's a couple of things I might change in the future. I'd certainly probably put more bottom drains in. Have quite a high current rate in the pond, and also an awful lot of oxygen. Nearly always running at full saturation. When Geiske came and visited, he said that as well as water, food, etc., genetics, that having high oxygen content was really important for getting growth out of the fish. And I'm getting phenomenal growth. I've got one Nisai that's approaching 77 cm now, just about turns eye. But probably 10 Nisai that have all attained 70 plus, and they've only been in the pond since January through to March, so they're doing all right. As we walk through the building site here, this is going to be a big oak frame summer house, all glass walls. Done more of a lounge than a summer house, and we'll have a Japanese grill down this end. So these are all the 4-inch pipes going into the filter house, and as I say, one goes direct into that filter there. So it's a total of 9 4-inch outlets out the pond, and then I've got 4 3-inch returns going into the pond. Air source heat pump, with the ability to chill as well as heat, which is really useful in this weather. It's at temperature at the moment, so it's not running. We also in the pond have, I had some lights actually. They're normal pool lights, but I had a control box custom made by Evo Aqua, which basically means not only are they dimmable, they're soft start LEDs, so the fish don't get a fright if I turn the lights on when it's already dark. Still some work to be done with the decking, and then we've got grow on stroke quarantine. Literally only put some fish in here a couple of days ago. They're recovering a bit. About 2 months ago had some bacterial issues in the other pond with the filter that didn't work, and they're just trying to get the skin back on them, but you know it's coming. But it's easier to treat them in here. I can give them treatments without upsetting the balance of the other pond. This is 2,700 gallons. The windows are not glass, they're acrylic. Personally, I feel, although there's slightly more maintenance, I think you get a better perspective through the glass. And also, being bulletproof, they're never going to break, there's no risk. So as we come round here, we're coming into the filter house. Again, the grow on's got an air source heat pump, so I can heat and chill if I want a heat ramp for quarantine. but you know, that's self-explanatory. And then we come into the filter house. So if we look at the setup initially for the grow on, we have a small Profi drum, and then that's connected to a little custom filter that me and Darren designed, where basically it's got a small K1 chamber, and then we've got submerged Backy house, and then obviously the shower above, using one Blue Eco and one Flowfriend. Both of the pumps are set on absolute minimum. Probably overcooked it on the pumps, but it gives me flexibility. Turning over that pond probably twice an hour, and trickling it. I'm probably at the moment where it's a new pond. I'm actually got a trickling rate of about 20% a day, but it's working well at the moment. Obviously I'm going to be fighting ammonia and nitrite initially at the start. Another thing that I really like is I put flow meters on absolutely everything. Where it's a new pond, I want to know exactly what flow rates gives me the best, shall we say, return out of the filters. And it allows me to do little experiments, monitor the results, and you know, just sort of like learn much quicker about that individual pond. So we go to the main pond. We've got two Combi Bio 50s, which are basically a Profi drum, and then a K1 chamber. Again, shower above, about 65 kilos each, Backy house in there, and as you can see, it's mirrored on the other side. Flowfriend pumps, 2 on each, plus a Blue Eco. Little Blue Eco's a awesome pump, you know, for how much power they use. And then what else have we got? Well, we've got a Sander protein skimmer, which I think is invaluable. It removes so much crap out of the water. It looks clean at the moment because my water is good. I had to treat a few weeks ago globally, and since then it's been absolutely critical. Now the controversial thing, we are running ozone. You can actually see the ORP is currently 300, but that's on the outlet of the ozone, and I've isolated the ozone in the protein skimmer, so there's no way it can get back to the pond. But measuring it on the outlet, the actual pond level ORP is only about 248, so I'm using it really mildly. There is a danger of burning the fish if you go too hard, I think. Has been controversial in the past, but to be fair, I think it's phenomenal if managed correctly. So then, yeah, we're running RO. There's 2 reasons for running RO. The water here is terrible. It's probably the hardest water in the country. pH of 8.7. But the biggest issue with the water here is that the copper level is 200 times that what is considered safe for koi and other heavy metals. So I don't really have a choice. It's the only way I can guarantee I'm keeping that copper out the pond. But I'm also using, I'm not using bicarb, I'm using RO, making it really easy for myself, not running the pond too low, and then I'm just mixing source water with it too. So again, you can see how much I'm producing, and then I'm putting in source water as well. So my trickle-in rate on this pond is about 5% a day, which is still a shitload of water on nearly 20,000 gallons. Big UV. There's also amalgam UVs built into the drums, more for keeping them clean, because with the ozone and that thing, it's more than capable of keeping up, apart from the initial bloom in spring, which is why I treated with it globally. Air pumps going to the bottom drains and one for the protein skimmer. Non-return valves to the bottom drains and the airline. Water pressure here is crap, so I'm increasing the pressure with a little pressure pump through the RO. It takes me from 2 bar up to about 7-8 bar, which is enough to produce about 4 litres a minute with about 2 litres of waste. And that's really it. You might spot the TDS is quite high on the main pond at the moment. That's remnants of the salt that I put in, which was put in really after the bacterial issue. It's just to give them a little bit of protection, help them heal. Microscope up there, Palin testing there. I test every day. Unfortunately, I've got the time to be at home a lot, and it helps me. And I do a lot of testing. I mean, it's a shithole cupboard, but as you can see, they're all my testing tablets. Also got an oxygen meter for measuring the oxygen, and I keep all that lot in reserve so that if I get a problem, I've got every medication I need to treat it instantly rather than let it get out of hand. Tried these things, fish ate them, they don't eat them, they just float around and clog up the skimmer, so don't waste your money on those. Feeding Saki Hikari. In summer I'm feeding floating pure white and sinking protein, but I spread the sinking protein around, you know, I spread it out throughout the day because I find it irritates the shit out of the fish with them flicking if you put too much in the pond in one go. Turnover rate on the pond is about, I'm putting 100 tonne through the 2 combis, 30 tonne through that, so about 1.3 times an hour pretty much, 1.25, and that's pretty much the pond. The pond's got more work to do, as you can see. The garden's got more work to do. That's pretty much it. Oh, parameters, I keep the pond at a pH of about 7.4. TDS is obviously high because of the salt. The other one's running at about 80 or 90. The pond's really only had fish in it since January, and I can already put 2 kilos of food in a day, and my ammonia and nitrite levels are basically zero. Get a little bit of an increase through the day. The issue I had initially when the pond was first settling down in spring was the filament algae growing, and what I found, and you know, that's why I question and don't run green water, is because certainly where the pond is fresh, I was getting a pH variation in the morning of about 0.6 from the morning to the afternoon, and the fish didn't like it. The moment I killed off the algae, I get a variation of 0.05 on the pH throughout the day. So for me, more stable, fish are happier, and they're doing all right. What else is there? KH I keep around 2.5 just because I want safety. It's a big volume of water, and if I did let it slip, it's going to take me a long time to get it back, and in the meantime the fish are going to get pissed off. Although the pond's open to the sun with these trees, I'm getting, you know, sort of like at the strongest part of the day, I'm getting about 50% shade on the pond. It was a concern initially when the trees didn't have the leaves, and you know, about 90% of the pond was exposed to the sun, and I do think we got 1 or 2 issues with a little bit of sunburn, but I'm not 100% convinced. And these are a few of the fish. So that little one there, that's only recently gone in the pond. Mum is S-Legend, it's the 3-step at the back of those 2 3-steps. But as I say, nearly every, I think there's 21 Momotaro, 2 Takigawa, 1 Marachiku, and the rest are Sakai. Daisuke's pick when he came out, he came to the pond, that was his favourite fish in the pond, although there's a couple of them that have been added since then. That one there's been added since. Mum is Black Dragon, the biggest show in the world. Yeah, that's basically it. If you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully I've covered everything. But there you go. Cheers.